Welcome to the 5G podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversation about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
All right, Trevor.
The Summer Game Fest.
I've heard horrible things.
Yeah,
I've only seen like a 2-minute video from Asmongold, so
it's mostly horrible, but there's some good. To lead off the Summer Game Fest, I'm sure I've heard of this event before, like in previous years, but it just seems like it was the new E3 because they got rid of E3, which was the big game reveal thing.
I didn't know they got rid of E3.
Yeah.
Why'd they get rid of E3?
I think because like less people were showing up to it anyway. Like Nintendo has their own one, Sony had their own one, so they were like not going in the previous year. So it was just Xbox. Really?
Fair enough.
Like it wasn't profitable enough. Blizzard has their own one that's getting pretty big now.
BlizzCon, right?
Yeah, BlizzCon. So yes, Summer Game Fest, I don't think was just Xbox, based on the list of games I want to talk about. Pretty sure it wasn't, but it's just another big, hey, here's all the games coming out, get hyped. So there was some decent news this week on some new games, some many disappointments, unfortunately. The big one I wanted to talk about is Dragon Age.
I saw this one.
Yeah.
Got the Overwatch treatment.
Yeah, they took it out back and shot it. Yeah, it's so Dragon Age backstory, right, is from BioWare, who used to be just the king of telling stories in video games. They are no longer. And I think that's an interesting point that a lot of people on the internet kind of forget. They're like, oh, these are my favorite video game companies from my childhood. They can do no wrong. Like, they're not the same companies from your childhood. Mm-hmm. It's totally different people in there now. Mm-hmm. But BioWare made Mass Effect was kind of their sci-fi
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Yeah, and Mass Effect 1 and 2 were phenomenal. 3, a lot of people don't like the ending to 3, but it was fine. And then they waited a few years, and then they made Mass Effect Andromeda, which was basically number 4. Nobody liked that one. It was trash. And then their fantasy storyline was Dragon Age. They had Dragon Age Origins, which was amazing. Dragon Age 2, which I don't think I ever beat, but I feel like I got about halfway through-ish or something. And then they waited a couple years, and they had Dragon Age Inquisition, and nobody really liked that one. I don't think I got through the tutorial of that one. Needless to say, that was 12, 13 years ago or something like that. So they've had a long time with no Dragon Age. BioWare, from my childhood, also made Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, yeah.
Which, amazing stories set in the Star Wars universe. You can tell they had passion.
Yeah.
And they just, They couldn't do anything like that today, no way.
Which is sad.
Yeah, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic was perfect. It was Dungeons and Dragons style combat with behind the scenes dice rolling in the Star Wars universe. That was perfect for 8-year-old Trevor. Dude, I loved that game. But that was a different time. And so yeah, Dragon Age Veilguard is the new game they announced on their fantasy storyline. It does not look good. I know it's only one trailer, and I don't even think they showed off any gameplay or very little gameplay.
Yeah,
but it does kind of look like Overwatch.
Yeah,
it's the trailer showed the characters being like quirky and with this like weird cringe humor. The animation style looks weird.
Yeah. It felt a little bit kind of like anime-y.
Yes.
In terms of like the characters themselves, instead of being like this. The video I saw was comparing the first or the previous game trailer to this game's trailer.
Oh, sure.
And the previous game, I don't know which one it was.
It's probably Dragon Age Origins. I think I saw the same clip comparing the trailers.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, this is just a knight with a massive shield, just like these two knights just going at it with these like barbarian type looking characters or whatever, and then there's a dragon and he like jumps on it and slices it down, and the dragon like
it was hardcore.
It was dope.
Yeah,
it was sick.
And you felt like that playing Dragon Age Origins.
Like that would be so cool. And then I saw this trailer and I was like, this looks like a Zelda game.
Yeah. Again, if I don't know, they did like the characters are just like, ha, they're making funny jokes that aren't that funny, and then they're like doing like anime style, like over the top moves.
Yeah, very weird.
Hadoken, but not quite Hadoken. Less cool than that. Even.
Yeah.
It looked a little cringe. They compared even the animation to both, like because they have it's hard fantasy, so they have some weird fantasy races, and they look like cartoony now compared to how they looked 12 years ago or more, where they look kind of rough and battle hardened.
Yeah.
It looks weird. A lot of people are kind of upset about it, understandably so, because like Dragon Age was supposed to be their hard fantasy RPG game, not like frilly and pretty and cartoony. There's plenty of other options for that. And it's BioWare. They've always done very like adult themed stories, like not cartoony, not kiddish.
Yeah, it looked like the first one, the trailer from the previous one. I was like, dude, this looks like a sick game. And this one, I was like, this looks like a game that I would give my 3-year-old to play.
It's like it seems like it could actually be a trailer for a hero shooter, like Overwatch. Like,
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. No, it definitely feels like that. It definitely feels like that.
It's just not. They did not capture the vibe. They did not read the room at all, because it's not the same people who made the original Dragon Age. No way. And they had no passion for the original Dragon Age. The little bit, again, I didn't see much of the gameplay, but the little bit I heard about the gameplay, and this might be kind of, I don't know, I'll dumb it down slightly, but because if you hadn't played Dragon Age Origins, like that RPG was like complex. There's like so much you can do there, especially the wizard class. Like you could play through the game as a wizard 3 different times, and it'd be totally different abilities. There was so much customization in your actual abilities. It blew my mind. And then you had a full party of 4 to 5 different characters. And yeah, so that was insane to play back then. I always played the warrior because I was 12 years old or whatever. I wanted to be that guy in the trailer with the big shield.
Yeah, for sure.
But the wizards actually probably had the most customization, but still. That's one thing I didn't like about Dragon Age Inquisition. It was like, not a lot of people liked it. It felt like a console port, so they kind of simplified it because, it's a console. You only have 4 buttons. We'll just make the gameplay easy. Weird. And then I heard in this one, Dragon Age Veilguard, from the gameplay, they said, you're only going to have space for 3 abilities. And you're like, wait, what? Only 3 abilities? You made it even worse. Like, the gameplay is not even going to be the same then. Your wizard's just going to be late.
Fireball, lightning bolt, flash flood. Fireball, lightning bolt, flash flood.
That's it. That's all you got. I'm like, that's nothing compared to the customization of at least Dragon Age Origins and 2, the first 2 games. Like, where it was just, that was one of the appeals, was like, you can do anything. And the replayability. You look at a game like Baldur's Gate 3, the replayability is through the roof on it, because it's got all of the D&D classes and the subclasses, and you can do anything. This one, like, it's going to be a game you give your 3-year-old to
dink around on.
Yeah, exactly. It's not.
Look, Daddy, I killed a dragon.
This story is going to look cartoony. It's not going to be replayable. It looks,
Yeah, that's too bad.
BioWare, another one in the dust.
Feels like everyone's taking a hit these days.
Yeah.
Except indie studios.
And FromSoft. I'll still give FromSoft that one, because
what do they make?
Elden Ring and Dark Souls.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which I think their DLC is coming out this week, so maybe we'll have.
They're kind of an indie studio if they only do those.
They are, actually.
Yeah. So.
Like, by Western standards, they're definitely an indie studio.
Yeah.
Heck, by Japanese standards, they might be, because like the only Japanese AAA, by our definition, would be like Nintendo and Sony. So
yeah.
Not Sony. Sorry, I meant Sega.
Sega still make games?
I think they only publish things now.
Oh.
I think they actually kind of outsource all the actual development.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They might still have a hand in Sonic, maybe.
Oh, I think they do.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, I think they do.
But again, like, I don't know, they're big enough they can just
for sure.
Just pay somebody else to do it
Yeah.
and collect all the money. Game publishers.
What is that model?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
We should open up the like, why can't you wait? Yeah, like Steam exists. Why do publishers exist still?
Uh-huh.
Is it just so you can get onto like Xbox and PlayStation basically?
It's like the connections they have, contracts. Yeah.
Maybe we should open a game publishing studio where we only take 5% of sales instead of 37,000% of sales.
Whatever, and then all the backdoor deals. Like,
yeah.
That's why, I mean, like, for what it's worth, Nintendo still is, like, you could argue, still doing passion projects. They are still developer and publisher of their stuff. Like,
yeah.
And even if they outsource to another company, they work very closely. It's practically Nintendo Part 2. Like,
yeah.
They have a very, like, they keep everything very close to their chest at Nintendo.
Not a bad way to do it.
No, because then other companies you see, like Sega or Microsoft or Ubisoft, some of these guys, they've gotten so big. They used to be developers, but now they're like,
we just publish the bullcrap that our students.
Yeah, we'll just let other people do it, and we don't care. Like, we make money either way. So,
do you? Sorry to interrupt your gaming recap. Game Fest, whatever. Summer Game Fest recap. Do you think that a game like Skull and Bones, for example, would have been more commercially successful if it had not been, published by Ubisoft and instead had come out of an indie studio for a reasonable price?
Okay. Yeah, you got a couple of qualifiers on there.
So I guess the main qualifier is, instead of coming from a AAA studio, if it had come from an indie studio
with an indie price,
because exactly.
I think so. I think
it 100% would have,
because certainly the game was in development hell for 10 years, but I think even now, and certainly 10 years ago, if they read the market, they could have been, there's a market for pirate games, absolutely. Yeah. People want to sail the seven seas and be a pirate, like. The concept is there. And so, if it wasn't attached to all the negative PR that Ubisoft gave it, there's guys saying it was the first quadruple A game, trying to justify a $70 price tag. If that was just like an indie game designer, $20-$30. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it would have been at least a competitor to Sea of Thieves, whereas one like Skull and Bones would have been more focused on sort of the I guess a zoomed out big picture of, like, you're not doing the one-on-one combat like Sea of Thieves is. Like, you are a pirate, an individual pirate. One like Skull and Bones seemed like, you're like the captain, you have this boat, and you're doing merchanting and gathering resources and kind of managing more on that high level.
It's almost like an Age of Empires type game. Esque, right?
Esque. And there's totally a market for that.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
It was just a thought I just had right now. Like, speaking of publishers and like, if I actually do think that Skull and Bones was a decent enough game that if it had been released at a $20 price tag through an indie developer, it would have
sold fine. Would have been fine.
I think so. I think it would, at $20. It's a game I might have considered purchasing. To be honest,
it wouldn't be dead like it is at this point.
They've tried reviving it so much. They've already come out with their season 2 or whatever, and it's
dead.
It's super dead.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see concurrent players.
Ubisoft fulfilled their contract. They got their paycheck from Singapore or whatever. That's all they care about.
Yeah, true.
They're done. I'll go back to Summer Game Fest. I kind of alternated these to do a negative and a positive. So
okay,
there's a positive. There's one I'm actually pretty excited about. We saw a lot more gameplay from, because it comes out later this year. Monster Hunter Wilds is the next Monster Hunter iteration. I'm a sucker for the Monster Hunter series. There's just something about chillaxing on a couch and just killing giant monsters with a giant weapon. Sometimes you got your buddies. I don't know, the world is so fun and quirky. Like the fact that like somehow humans evolved in this world with these ginormous monsters. You're like, how do we survive?
Yeah.
Because we hunt. And they got they got the talking cats, which are just hilarious too. Because I don't know, any of their animations are just super goofy. The first one I played, Monster Hunter World, had a cat chef because you had to eat every time before you went out on a hunt, and his animations were amazing. Like they probably blew the whole animation budget on his sequences because they changed throughout the game based on like your tier level of food of meat that you gave him.
That's cool.
And so he'd be like chopping up steaks and like throwing them in the oven, and they'll spicing them. He's got his little cat helpers to come, and they're like doing vegetables, and like they went way over the top on these cats like making your meals, and then they like serve it to you, and it looks delicious. Like I would eat this. So the world is fun. I enjoy the gameplay a lot because speaking of replayability, they have like 14 different weapon types.
Jeez.
And each one has its own like unique move set. It feels like you're playing almost like a Street Fighter. You've got different combos for each weapon.
Yeah.
So you have to learn your combos. You hunt monsters. You gather resources. They go give you better weapons so you can go kill monsters better to get new resources. The gameplay loop is dumb, but it's satisfying. And the new stuff they showed in Monster Hunter Wilds looks pretty cool. It looks like they're doing a pseudo open world, which I think will improve a lot. In theory, it should get a lot more people to the game because some of the previous complaints is you kind of get bogged down in menus in previous Monster Hunter games. Like, all right, let's go hunt a monster, and you're like, you got to go through all the menus and the quest log to pick the monster, and then you got to prep to fight the monster. And
yeah,
it's a lot of menus. Whereas this one, you can just be out wandering around in the open world, and boom, there's a monster right in front of you.
That's cool.
Go fight him. So it looks nice. They showed off. You get to ride some new mounts. You get to ride these like dog-like things. So you have.
That sounds like a good game.
Yeah, fast travel from anywhere. The environments in Monster Hunter World also look very pretty, and so it's all going to be one like interconnected open world. It looks good. I'm probably going to play it. I'll enjoy it.
Very cool.
Monster Hunter Wilds.
Premium price tag?
No, probably just $60 because they're AAA. It's Capcom. So
okay, yeah.
It'll probably be $60. If you give it 6 months, it'll be down to like 40. Like they're pretty okay. There's no egregious DLCs. There's some cosmetics if you want, but they, from what I recall, they're pretty reasonable prices. Like, and then they usually do like one big expansion, like a year or two after they do a big like $30 expansion. Capcom's always been okay in my eyes.
Oh, good.
So I enjoyed seeing what they had for Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah, that sounds like a decent game. I might have to look into getting that as well, and we can do some co-op or something.
I'm excited to see some more news, some more gameplay coming out. But they revealed a good amount because they're coming out in October. I want to say October, November.
Very cool.
Yeah. Gotta have some good news, even though negative content is good for clicks. It's good for interaction. So
I prefer talking about good news.
I also do. Yeah.
Like whenever we talk about TV shows or movies that we're like, this is awesome. It's like, yes.
Oh yeah. Awesome is like, yeah.
And then we have to talk about freaking Star Wars: The Acolyte. It's like, geez Louise.
Oh man, what a headache.
Or anything Star Wars comes out with.
Basically anything Star Wars these days. Yeah.
Jeez.
So I'll flip back to negative news now.
Woo!
But then I'll end it with the last bit of good game.
I cheated and looked at the last one. I saw the preview for this one.
Okay,
it looks
good.
dope.
Nice.
I saw a little bit about this. This one you're going to talk about.
Start with the next bad one. New World is dead.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the New World that you and I played, that enjoyed the heck out of, it's dead.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It was an awesome MMO. It got you guys into MMOs. And
yeah,
you don't really.
They've never been my style of game.
No,
they've never been my style of game.
They've always been mine. And,
yeah,
and I still enjoyed this one too. Like,
yeah, I've never enjoyed MMOs, but this one was. I loved New World.
It was made by Amazon Games, which you're like, okay, that's kind of interesting. But honestly, it was fine. Like Amazon did an okay job with it, or at least the Amazon games.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job.
The big complaint since the beginning of the game, it's been out probably almost 2 years at this point, I think.
Probably more than that.
Big complaint at the start and until now is that the end game didn't have much for you to do. The crafting system was really good, and you could do a lot of that like end game crafting, and the PvP was fine. But it never updated in 2 years. It never changed, so it was stale. That was all you could do at endgame was crafting and PvP. And so the bulk of the game that was really fun was leveling up, which is basically all we did. It was pretty phenomenal. On my like solo playthrough, I got a character to max level, and then I didn't do much else with him, and then I was still just leveling up with you guys.
Yeah, even the grindy aspects of it, like the tree chopping or the mining, was like, this is fine.
It was fine. Some of the random events you like did anyway, they were kind of cool. Just like, oh, there's a bunch of enemies spawning right here. You got to go check them out.
Yeah.
And,
like, open a chest after the end, and it's like, ooh, this is kind of cool.
Loot, yay!
Gotta love loot.
You got to throw more shinies at the players. Keep them entertained. So the game was fun, but it was stale, and they fast forward to probably a year ago, they released an expansion which had a little bit of new content.
What was it called? Continue?
Something Sands.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking.
Because they introduced a new like desert biome.
Oh, that's cool.
And the big thing that people were like, yeah, the desert biome's cool and all, but you paid $30 to get a horse. They finally put a mount in the game, but only if you bought the expansion.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, like that was kind of the joke. Like it's a $30 horse for an in-game mount, but there was some content. The expansion was fine, not amazing, and it wasn't a whole lot of new like end-game content. Again, the PvP was still stale. There was still nothing else to do. So that was a year ago, and then or close to it, maybe 7 months, and then they hadn't. There's no updates, no nothing, no news from the developers at all. Like there's bugs that need to be fixed. Like the community is trying to keep the game alive, but people are kind of getting frustrated with no communication. So it seems like maybe some poor handling on the developer side. Until they got an announcement of like, oh hey, we have news coming in June for the Summer Games Fest. And so then they waited months for that, like, oh, news is coming, but still no bug fixes, no updates, no nothing. It was an announcement of an announcement. It comes to June, Summer Games Fest, New World, they announce. New World Aeternum is just, they're launching on consoles. They're just releasing to console, Xbox and PlayStation. That's it. Which then comes in 4 or 5 months or something later this year. There's still no updates. There's still bug fixes. The PvP is still bland. Like there's nothing going on in that. They've abandoned it.
Yeah, that's rough.
And their announcement of an announcement was like, "Hey, we're releasing the console." Okay,
that's it.
And here's for me is kind of the kicker. When they released a console, that's why it's called New World Aeternum. It's like it's a new game. You have to. PC players are going to have to buy the expansion in order to play the new game, and console players just buy the new game that like has the expansion in it. So if you bought the base game previously, that's not worth anything anymore. Because if you're a PC player, you have to buy the expansion, and console players have to buy the whole game. So the expansion's like $30, and the whole game's going to be like $50 or whatever.
So they've literally just murdered this thing.
Yeah, it's dead. It's done.
Because no PC player is going to play. No PC player is going to pay $30 so that they can play with Xbox and PlayStation players.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's stupid.
And they're starting fresh servers for that. But you can only play that unless you buy the new expansion. So I forget if they're just like killing all of the old servers of PC players
with like all those characters.
Yeah,
because once you hit level 20 or 30, 20 or 30, you couldn't switch servers anymore.
Correct. Yeah, 20 or 30. Yeah, out of 60, I think.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah,
which I thought was a fine mechanic. Like,
yeah, I think it was fine.
I thought it was okay.
I'll let you try out.
But so if they're getting rid of those servers, they're killing off those. You have a level 40 character, dead.
Yep.
All that time and effort you've put into it, maybe cosmetics.
They gave very minimal information because that's what the studio does. But it seems like, yeah, if you don't buy the new expansion, if you don't buy our new game, you're dead. You're done. You either can't play anymore or you're going to be on a dead server. At which case they're probably just going to close your server down anyway. So I maybe hold out to see some more information on that, but no, it's dead. They're going to try to sell it to console to get console players interested for a month or two, and
that type of game does not lend itself to console play.
No, not really.
It really doesn't.
No, they're going to try to capitalize on console players because they think there's big money there, but by the time that game releases, it's going to be a year of no bug fixes in a multiplayer game.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You can't have that. You just can't.
That's unfortunate. That's
World.
sad because that game was, in my opinion, really a good game.
The leveling up was solid. Like, the story felt cool enough.
It didn't feel grindy.
No, it really didn't.
Like, the grinding aspect of it, you were like, I have to go chop trees, but it's like you chop trees and then a bear attacks you or something like that. It's like, oh crap.
Oh man. Oh, now I'm fighting bears, and then look, there's another tree, and so you just end up on this string of things. You're like, oh, there's a random NPC with a quest here. What does he want me to do? And
yeah.
Kind of like Monster Hunter, I mentioned, there's a lot of different guns, or a lot of different weapons.
There's a lot of different weapons, a lot of different skill tree. The skill tree is extensive.
Yeah, so it feels very different. You could always have two weapons, and you could swap them at any time. So, yeah.
The armor as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you were a deck character, you could wear whatever armor you wanted. It wasn't going to help you out very much, but you could do it.
Yeah, very unique. But it's dead. It's done. The leveling up was still fun. Like, again, if maybe they have the servers open and you can just go and play and level up with some buddies, that might still be recommended. But you just hope you don't run into any game-breaking bugs because they won't be fixed, or any cheaters.
Is that a big problem in the game?
I hadn't heard, but I have to assume, if they're not even paying attention to the game, there's going to be hackers.
Yeah. Although in PvP, that matters more than in PvE.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, if it's PvE and you can watch other people cheat, it's like, okay, whatever. Like, why are you playing the game?
Yeah, exactly.
I've never understood that in, like, non-competitive games.
Yeah, it's not fun for anyone.
It's like, why?
The one I saw in Payday 2, this cheater, he had a flamethrower that just shot out bags of meth, which is like the most expensive like commodity in game. You bag it up, you throw it in the van, and instead of just like, because the game mechanic is like, if you secure a bag in the van, it's good, and if you complete the mission, you get the money that it's worth. Instead of just like standing at the van and just spraying money into the van, basically, he was just like running around the mission, just spraying it up in the air. So there was just like bags of meth flying down all over the place, which they're all highlighted on your screen. So you had all these like orange silhouettes of bags all over the map. It was hilarious. I was like, I ain't even mad.
No,
that's just funny.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Cheating in a PvE game is like, all right, have fun with it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
If you want, but
if you're trying to win the game, though, it's like, what? Like, just type in
win.
If play equal win.
Yeah. Boss equals dead. Oh, I killed the boss. Woo.
Yeah, it's like, that's not.
There's no achievement.
If you're doing something silly to cheat, it's like, yes, I have a nuke gun, a mini nuke gun.
You're having fun with that? Go for it.
Yeah, just forestry 100.
Forestry.
Chops a lot of wood down, right?
I found a guy on Deep Rock Galactic that was just playing with like God mode on. He just wasn't taking any damage, and he had it applied to the whole team somehow. I wasn't taking any damage either, and I was like, "Are you cheating right now?" He's like, "Yeah, I just have like infinite health turned on." I'm like, "Do you mind turning that off? I'm trying to play the game." He's like, "No, I just like it." I'm like,
"But we all have it now too."
But you take it off of me then. Like, what? Okay. And he had to like go change some settings around, and then we started taking damage again. It was weird. Felt like I was playing with an 8-year-old kid, which again is fine, but like he didn't totally understand we're playing the game to play the game. You can go play on an easy difficulty if you want, but we were playing on like a harder difficulty, and he just had on infinite health.
Were you playing that recently?
No, that was probably a few months ago.
They came out with like their fourth season?
Next season, yeah.
4th or 5th season. And it looks pretty... I thought about hopping onto it last night, but I did not. War Thunder was calling my name instead.
Nice.
Been grinding that away, which is annoying because it takes so long
to grind things.
Oh my gosh, just trying to freaking get the next boat or whatever.
Jeez,
takes so long.
The last positive.
This one looks sick
from Summer Game Fest 2024. We have the new Doom game coming. Doom. The Dark Ages.
It looks dope.
It does look cool. All right. The modern iterations of Doom, which they called Doom 2016 and then Doom Eternal, have been phenomenal. But this one looks like it's just gonna be more of the same and or better. So I mean,
like it's a simple gameplay.
Yeah, you're the Doom Slayer. You're just a super powered super soldier. And you kill a bunch of demons, and there's blood spraying everywhere.
It looks dope.
They always give you a shotgun, and you just like it's the upgrade to this one, right? So Doom Eternal, the big upgrade was you got a grappling hook. Like, oh, all right, that's pretty cool. Big upgrade in this one, you get a shield with a chainsaw attached.
Yeah.
So,
and you can throw it.
You're like Captain America throwing your chainsaw shield.
It looked dope in the trailer. Like
it looked perfect.
I want to buy that. Trevor, that it was what game trailers should do. Is it should make someone who's never played a Dune game. That's not true. I've played Dune, like the old original Dune.
The original,
like for an hour.
I love OG Dune.
It's great.
Yeah.
But that ad, I was like, I'm buying this game.
Yeah. That's what it should do.
Like, it should take a player who's never played a modern Dune game, and the only time they've played Dune was the original one for like an hour.
You're like, oh yeah, I've heard the name. I kind of know.
I know what Doom is, right? They should the trailer, the ad should do that to me.
It sold it to you,
and it did because it looked sick, and it looked like the world was beautifully evil and awesomely done.
Yeah,
right. It looked perfect.
Yeah. The one thing they said gameplay wise is like, okay, we just want to let people know we're going with less verticality on this game, like less jumping around, and like they were just warning players like the gameplay might be slightly different, and then they show off the friggin' chainsaw, shield, boomerang.
Okay,
that's fine. I mean, thank you for letting me know, but it still looks great.
I'll trade a grapple hook for a chainsaw shield that I can throw. Sure. Not mad about this.
I'll take it, man.
And it looks like you can fly on things too.
I don't know.
I think the trailer had like him, the Doomslayer, flying on like a dragon.
Riding a dragon. A demon dragon. I mean,
also the shotgun, the double barrel shotgun, just looked sick.
Yeah, that's the best weapon in every game, in every one of the Doom games.
It looks
probably most games.
It looks dope. It looks so cool.
You need every shooter game has got to have a good double barrel shotgun. Very satisfying.
There was a game I played where they had a double barrel shotgun, and you could load the chambers differently.
Oh, that's kind of clever.
And so you could load it with like one was buckshot, one was like a slug or something like that. So, and it gave you different ranges.
Nice.
Oh, it was freaking Rising Storm Vietnam.
Oh, okay, nice.
If you played as the Viet Cong, they had double barrel shotguns, and you could load them. You could choose different loads.
That's clever. That's well done.
And so, yeah, it was buckshot and slugs. That's exactly what it was.
The Fallout games, Fallout New Vegas was the first one that had a lot of different ammo types, and the shotguns were the best for that. Yeah, you can load up your buckshot or your slugs or your dragon's breath or flechettes. Like,
yeah,
you could do a lot. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think Fallout 4 had the same different ammo types, but I enjoyed BioShock was probably one of the first ones. That's why it's stuck in my mind. They gave you a double barrel shotgun in that game, and you got different upgrades to all your guns, and you could pick which upgrades you wanted. So by the end of the game, I had a triple barrel shotgun.
Oh, nice.
I think it was sawed off, pretty sure. I know it was at least triple barrel, maybe sawed off, and then I even had little like Tesla arc coils, so it shocked the enemies or something.
Sure.
I was like, all right, that was pretty cool. Start of the game, you're just like, normal double barrel, and then, wow. Yeah, triple barrel electric shotgun like coming at you.
You should get a triple barrel shotgun.
Probably, yeah.
You know they make them. Chiappa.
Legally?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, I've seen the Keltec makes one. Kind of technically, not really.
No, that's two tubes.
Two magazine tubes.
Yeah, that feed. But there's a company, Chiappa. They make a triple barrel break action shotgun.
Wow. Okay, that's impressive.
They're heavier than sin.
I bet
they're so heavy.
The Keltec, they say, is super heavy.
Yeah,
because it's friggin'. You've got pounds of lead at the end.
Well, and they made one that was an extended version of that that holds a whole box of ammo.
No,
25 rounds. Well, 24 in one in the chamber. Yeah.
It's good enough.
So it's insane.
Wow.
But yeah,
shotguns. Gamers are simple, man.
You give them a good shotgun and a chainsaw shield.
Yeah,
happy camper.
I'm content. You can put as much politics, diversity, and inclusion in that game as you want.
Still gonna shoot it all.
I'm gonna shoot all of it. Yeah, because you gave me a shotgun. And a chainsaw shield. Done.
Oh, this zombie is a lesbian native Hawaiian. Chainsaw to the face.
Chainsaw.
This is a ethnically European African, whatever that means. Chainsaw to the face.
This guy's a neo-Nazi. Done.
Chainsaw and shotgun to the face.
Both. Yeah. That's it. We're simple.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
If the game is fun, and so far from trailers, it looks fun.
I mean, from the trailer, they're gonna have a hard time screwing the game up.
Yeah.
Because it literally looks like shotgun, chainsaw, shield.
And killing a bunch of demons.
And killing demons.
There's probably going to be some awesome heavy metal music playing in the background.
Probably. But you know what? That's a bonus.
Yeah, right? Like, it's
single player only, right?
Yeah, most of the games are, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they had like a co-op mode. They could do that.
I feel like a co-op, like Helldivers-esque type game would be really fun, except like merge Helldivers 2 and Doom, and then it's like...
Yeah, I don't want them to focus on a multiplayer mode, because Doom is...
No, it's single player.
Yeah, it is iconic with just the single player. Focus on that. But if they had a co-op mode, they can do some good work on that.
Yeah.
And don't PvP like a Helldivers. Don't worry about trying to balance it.
No.
Just have fun.
Although I suppose that game is just Remnant.
Remnant, probably, actually, yeah.
Remnant's pretty similar to that, I would say.
Yeah, that was a good game too. Good co-op games.
I never finished Remnant 2.
You never beat the story, I remember. Yeah, okay. That final boss was. Oh,
I've watched the game gameplay.
We ought to go back and beat that one of these days, then, because
the 3 phases.
3 phases. Phase 2 is just epilepsy.
I saw it, yeah,
the whole time.
Yeah,
it's insane. Yeah, it's crazy. And then you basically do a boss rush up to the final boss. You're gonna fight like 3 bosses two bosses before him, so you get 3 bosses in a row. You can respawn in between each one, but it still is like each one is like harder than the previous. You're like,
yikes,
man.
Yeah, I've watched Shroud.
Oh yeah,
do his playthrough of it, and he.
If you have a build where like you think the first of the 3 bosses is like not that hard, you're like, oh, that was kind of fine. You get to the next guy and he's way harder for you. And then if you did a totally different build, it's like reversed. They found
it's a good way to make the final fight sequence balanced for everyone.
Yeah, because then the final boss just kicks your trash no matter who you are. So
there's that stupid boss in the that would just like, if you could see him, you just died.
Oh yeah,
it was like the ooze thing.
I do remember that.
And he would like explode or whatever, and like it wasn't even like you took damage. It was like, no, you just died.
You're dead.
So you'd like figure out how to hide. I remember we did that boss like 6 times.
Don't look at him. Yeah, Remnant 2 is good. I gotta go back to that. I got my dad into that one for a bit even.
Really?
Yeah. He and Sawyer were playing.
That's cool.
That was fun.
Yeah. I should go back and play. I was I think we should start a video game company, Trevor.
Probably.
I think we should start a game studio. I feel like we have some decent ideas for games, and
again, if we're not you and I like nerding away on a computer making games, we at least have the ideas. We can pay someone else.
Yeah. We should raise money.
Yeah,
be kind of fun. Be kind of fun.
It would be fun.
Anyway, any other?
No, those were basically the highlights. There were a few random indie games that popped up.
Yeah,
I know. I praise indie games when they come out, but nothing really super appealed to me. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Video games are good.
Video games are good. Looking forward to it.
I'm serious. I might buy Doom.
Doom, the Dark Ages.
Yeah, it looked sick. It looked sick. Let me talk about the new Hitman movie on Netflix.
Did you watch this one?
I did.
I also watched this one. Unprompted. We did not.
Yeah, same. Ryan and I, we were looking at it, and I thought it was going to be a Hitman style movie.
I thought it was going to be the Hitman video game. I feel a little bamboozled, but
I also felt a little bit bamboozled. Yeah, I will say.
I saw the trailers coming up, or not the trailers, but I saw the promotional material, just stills, and I was like, "Oh, they're doing a Hitman movie."
Well, cool. And the actor Glenn Powell was in Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, he's in everything now.
And yeah,
he's cool.
He's a great actor. I like him.
I think he's going to be like the next Tom Cruise or whatever.
Something. Which I'm here for it.
Yeah, I have no problems with him.
And he's a bigger guy, and so I was assuming more action oriented. You know, and. There's like the Hitman's Bodyguard is another style of movie, which is like an action kind of comedy because Ryan Reynolds is in it.
That's what I was about to say. Isn't that one Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah. So when I think of Hitman, I think of
stealth spy movie,
or the Hitman movies where bald guy at barcode and sniping around a building and whatnot. Right?
Good action.
And no, not at all what this movie was. Let me what would you say it's a good watch or not a good watch?
I am conflicted. So I don't know what number rating I would give the movie. My experience with the movie was I saw half of the movie. So it's like a 2-hour movie. I saw 1 hour and then I paused and came back to it I think maybe the next day.
Oh, interesting.
I was done for the night. And halfway through the movie, I was like, I'm really enjoying this movie. This movie's really good. Gripped me, even though it wasn't what I expected, but like, a gripping story. And then I came back the next day, and the second half of the movie kind of fell a little flat for me. I was like, all right, there's some plot holes. It's just, okay, that's the way they're going. Interesting. All right, that's pretty lame. I don't know. It subverted my expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of
Yeah, that's a very good analysis of it because I also felt the same way. Like,
okay, good. All right.
Halfway through,
the only one.
Probably actually even like more than halfway through.
Yeah.
Ryan and I watched it in one sitting. Right?
Okay.
So I was like, dude, this is sick. Like the climax, the resolution and climax are going to be really dope, right? And then it was like, okay, that fell a little bit flat. And like, you're learning about these characters and like what they're doing, and it's like, whoa, what the heck? This lady's crazy. This guy's crazy. They're both crazy.
Everyone's crazy.
Everyone's insane. And then towards the end, you're like, oh, that's kind of not as. It's kind of meh.
Kind of ended unceremoniously. Just
yes.
Like, okay, I guess that's an ending.
Yes, that's a good way to.
I almost don't want to spoil it, but I can.
Yeah.
At least at the halfway point, I can spoil some of it, I think. It's not the climax of the movie. When I stopped halfway through, you see he's like, he's getting in with this girl, and he's basically convinced her to like leave her. We just knew that he was like abusive and like super controlling. And so I kind of wondered, I'm like, okay, he's pretending to be a hitman. That's the name of the movie. That's not a spoiler. And he's just getting with the girl. He's like, oh, life is good. And I'm like, okay, so the guy's gonna be in a drug cartel or something, right? Like the husband we painted him as just a bad guy, like, and he's getting involved with some drug cartel leader's wife that he knows nothing about. like, oh, okay, the climax of this movie is going to be insane.
This big old shootout, or some sort of.
This is going to be wild. Like he's getting involved in this shadowy under criminal world that he knows nothing about, but he has to pretend to know about. No, turns out her husband was just like an incel. He was just like some nerdy dude who was just like, man. And then there was no antagonist.
No.
There was nothing, and then nothing happened. Really, like he decides that he wants to stay with the girl, and you're like, all right, cool.
And they do, and there's a family, and blah blah blah.
You're like, all right, happy ending, I guess. But that's
weird ending.
Yeah, it's not at all what I was expecting. Very just kind of.
Yeah, no, it really was.
Petered out at the end.
Well, like at the beginning, it didn't start how I was expecting, right? No. I was like, oh, this is an interesting start. Because when the movie started, I was like, this is a hitman movie.
Yeah.
There is someone who's killing other people in this movie. This is an action movie, is what I had in my mind, right? Yeah. And go through the beginning, he's like this nerdy professor. I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And he's got he seems like a little bit like a psychopath. Like a little bit, right? And then like he gets going, he's like starting to like do all these characters, and you're like, oh, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
And then he like meets this girl, and like you said, like there's the ex-boyfriend we don't know much about, and it's like, oh crap. And I thought he was gonna actually like start becoming a real hitman, right?
Sure, yeah.
And
so he's just acting,
using his in with the cops as like protection for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then
and then just no.
I still think it's a watch.
I think it's a watch. Mainly, like Glenn Powell's acting was very
phenomenal.
Yeah, so good to see him. His character is like working for the police. He's not entrapping, but kind of entrapping would-be criminals. And so he role plays. He acts as a lot of different characters, and that was fun. That was cool.
Yeah, and honestly, it showed his range is very, very, very strong.
The actual main character is a nerd, but then like the main persona is like this tough.
Bad A, yeah.
But there's several scenes of like other weird, goofy characters he has to play.
Honestly, I thought his acting was amazing in that movie.
So probably worth a watch.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a solid 7.5.
Yeah, again, I didn't hate watching it.
Yeah,
I was like, all right, it was okay, but I didn't love it by the end.
No, it wasn't amazing. But it was so good.
It was watchable for like a nice drama.
Definitely a movie you can watch with the family or the wife.
Yeah, probably the wife.
Maybe not the family.
Yeah, I was like, they had 1 or 2 sex scenes. I don't think we're overly explicit, but
no nudity though, right?
I think you got side boob, maybe. But
maybe
there was no nudity. I don't think.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Boobs are boobs at this point, so I was like,
boob is poop.
You seen one, you seen them all. Right? Just forget about it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was
in my opinion. Good movie.
Again, ending is not phenomenal. I think you and I just wrote 2 different endings that probably would have been better. Other people could probably write better endings.
Well, but it's a real story.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a true story, so they couldn't just...
Well, I'm sure the ending is probably not the true part, though.
No, so they changed that one little thing.
Yeah.
They even say like in the credits.
Oh yes.
They say like, yeah, all of this was real except for that. He didn't actually do that. We made it up.
Except for that part, we made that part up.
They literally said that. They literally said we made that up.
You're like, okay, but if you and I just wrote better endings, I don't know.
Yeah,
loosely based off of a true story, so I get that. That's fine. And I think the original guy even died recently, so it's kind of a tribute.
Yeah, I think 2022.
Yeah,
I think.
So you're like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, no, I think cool story.
Low budget.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you think about it, it's a drama. It's literally just like they paid the actors to act, and there were only like 3 or 4 different sets. I mean,
yeah, it's true.
And maybe a couple more. They went to a couple restaurants and stuff, but
yeah, but you just go find a middle of America restaurant, and it's like, okay, hey, we're gonna pay you. Can we pay you $3,000 to rent your restaurant for a day to film?
Yeah,
it's like
sure.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was great.
I think it was 20-something million. Like, oh yeah, that's not bad.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Like if it was around there, that's like super, super well done.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah,
hey, man,
I thought it was good. That was good.
Interesting. I still wanted to see the drug cartel come out of nowhere.
Same. I still wanted to see some sort of firefight or something.
But,
blow some warehouses up or something.
Do you want to talk about some current events, some gun related news?
Yeah, there's actually Did I have both of them on here? I might
think
not.
so.
Yeah. So there was two things that kind of happened, and I actually probably have an unpopular opinion about one of them. Actually, I probably have an a contrarian to my in-group's belief.
Okay.
The gun community,
The gun
right?
community.
So I guess I'll start with the first one, which is chronologically the first one as well. Is that Hunter Biden,
Yeah.
the president's son,
Court case.
had his court case and was found guilty of falsifying federal documents to purchase a gun.
Yeah.
Which is a federal crime, and he was prosecuted. And a lot of people, I've seen people saying like, "This is a witch hunt," and it's like, not really. Or people are saying like, "This is retaliation for prosecution of Trump." It's like,
well,
I don't think so, because like, anyway,
yeah,
I don't want to get into like that politics side of it.
Yeah.
What's interesting though, so what Hunter Biden did was, when you go to buy a gun, contrary to popular belief, you do fill out a document and have background check.
It's very extensive.
And on that document, it asks if you've done a federally prohibited substance within, like, I think it's ever.
Yeah.
Like prior to purchasing the gun or something like that. I don't know if there's a statute of limitations on it.
I
don't remember exactly.
Long, but it asks you drug use.
Yeah. And I think there are some drugs where it's like after a certain amount of time, like you're okay, but other ones, if it's like cocaine or meth or something like that, they're like,
that's a no-go.
It's a no-go. Yeah. I think marijuana was like a semi-permissible one.
Yeah, which is probably a weird one because some states have legalized it.
Well, so this is the big kerfuffle.
Federally, it's not.
This is the big kerfuffle. So Hunter Biden famously has had substance abuse issues. I don't want to go into like, he's a horrible human for that. It's like people struggle with that stuff.
Right.
I'm not casting blame or shame on anyone for that, right? I don't want to paint him as a horrible human being because he has a substance abuse problem.
Yeah, not for that.
No. Yeah, that's a
topic for
a good correction.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he lied on this form saying that he had either never done or hadn't recently done
in that time period. Yeah.
Drugs. I think he's addicted to cocaine, I believe, is his substance of choice. And so he lied on that, saying he hadn't done cocaine for however many decades or whatever since then, and blah blah blah. Basically, he lied on it, and so they found him guilty of lying on a federal document. And what's interesting is that the gun community is very split on this, which is interesting.
Okay,
most Republicans are like, the son of the president got convicted; he's a felon. The president is also a felon, like guilt by association.
Bad guy.
Right?
Yeah,
and I don't have any of those thoughts or anything like that. I honestly, like, in terms of that, I don't really care.
Yeah.
What I care about and find interesting is this weed issue. And a lot of the gun culture is leaning towards this as well, where it's like, no, we would rather Hunter Biden not be prosecuted for this. Like, a lot of gun people are like, how about no? Because, and it's shifting this way, right? A lot of older Republicans, especially, are what we would call FUDs, right? Where it's, the 1911 is the best gun in the world, and all you need is a good hunting rifle, and blah, 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 right? Whereas a lot of the younger gun culture is very much anti-authoritarian. Guns are not just for hunting. Guns are, for anti-tyranny devices, that type of thing, right? And so the younger gun community is like, Hunter Biden should not have been prosecuted because every single human being has lied on a federal form.
Yeah. It's really hard.
And also, just because you've done something that some random person says is illegal for some random reason, doesn't mean that it should take away your rights as a creature of God, as a natural creature, to protect yourself with the tools available to you. Right. And so that's kind of like the dichotomy where it's like a lot of it's kind of split the Republican Party, in my opinion, at least, because half of them, the non-gun part, is like, oh, Hunter Biden is the son of the president that I don't like, and so obviously I don't want him to be free or whatever.
Whereas everyone else is like, dude, have you filled out a federal form before? Those things are intended to be hella complicated.
Yeah, and also like how many people have had a prescription and then, like, I don't know, you don't take like 2 of the Oxycontin that you're prescribed, and then you smack your toe real hard or something like that, or you sprain your ankle and you're like, I'm in so much pain, Advil's not doing it, and you take an extra oxy. Like, it's in your medicine cabinet. It's like, I have 2 of them. I'm not going to get addicted from 2 of them. I'm going to pop a hydrocodone, right? Mm-hmm. Technically, that's illegal.
Technically, right.
Because the reason for the prescription
it's a controlled substance.
Yeah. And the reason for that prescription is not what you're treating it for, right? Yeah. And so it's like, okay, well, that blows. So now every time you fill out a federal form to go purchase a gun, you're lying.
I think you made the joke a couple weeks ago, like, if you step into New York, you're breaking the law.
Yeah, somehow, no, exactly. Right? And same thing with this, right?
Same thing with federal, yeah, pretty similar.
Like, if you were a teen and you toked up with your friends at the side of a canal or something like that, the side of a lake, you're not hurting anyone. Mm-hmm. Some guy just said, this leaf is illegal.
And again, that one's even weird, because states are allowing marijuana, but federally, no.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who could get in some serious trouble because California, Arizona, Nevada.
I think the number is up to 30-something states.
The majority of states have legalized weed.
Legalized marijuana, but federal government still says no.
Yeah. And so these, if you live in a state where it's legal to own a gun and legal to smoke weed in your state, you are technically lying on, if you've smoked weed,
federal form,
you are lying to the government about, and in my opinion, it's stupid, right? Yeah. Like, I think you should be able to smoke as much weed as you want and have as many guns as you want. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. I don't smoke weed, so like, and I think it smells disgusting, and I would prefer that you don't do it in public places.
Yep.
But I also prefer they don't smoke a cigarette in public places. Also, so like, because
I also don't prefer people in public places.
Trevor, that's the definition of public place. There's the public.
There's too many people out here.
There's too much public in this public.
Just want to go out and eat my food in peace and quiet.
Yeah. But like, so in my opinion, I think that, to sum up, I think that the prosecution and subsequent finding of the Hunter Biden case is bad for Americans.
Sure. Yeah, it's you should have gone after a different reason, because the precedent that this one sets is maybe a little not what you intended. So
yeah.
But
honestly, he's gonna get off. So it
doesn't matter anyway.
Because Biden's saying he's not gonna pardon his son, and you know what's gonna happen on November 7th?
He's gonna get pardoned. Anyway.
He's gonna get pardoned.
Yeah, exactly. So doesn't matter.
100%.
Also, like, even because the sentencing hasn't happened yet, his sentencing might just be like, community service. Who cares?
Yeah, because
even though like breaking a federal crime is subject to 20.
Well, the problem though, is that if he becomes a felon, he now loses a lot of his rights.
Oh, gotcha.
Which.
Yeah,
like I don't like
a different issue.
It's completely different issue.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a messed up thing. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna like, because you're the president's son, you're guilty, but like we're just gonna give you community service, and it's like, well, like that's great, right? Like fantastic. I'm glad that his connections got him out of prison or whatever, right? But also now he can't vote. He can't legally own a gun anymore.
Huh.
He loses all of his rights
because it was a criminal.
Because he's a felon.
Yeah, it was a felon. I was like, because you lied on the federal form. I was like, okay, interesting. Because it was like just people who've gone to jail. I feel like eventually
you can. I think you can submit to get your rights back.
You can reapply. Yeah, but
it's like after a long time. It's not right. I mean, you can't apply immediately after you get out of jail. You have to go on parole and do all that bull crap.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I think it's bad. The other thing I think is that the other topic, real quick, is that the Supreme Court just overturned the ATF's ruling on bump stocks and pistol braces. Pistol braces is one that I think is a good thing that they overturned.
Yeah.
The bump stocks, I could care less.
Yeah, who cares?
It's Everyone's like, oh, it turns things into machine gun. Technically, it doesn't, first of all, which is why it got overruled.
Yeah.
Second of all, I don't know if anyone's ever tried shooting a machine gun before. First of all, that's relatively difficult unless you know how to use a gun.
Yeah.
You can't just pick up a gun and do it. You have to like know how to shoot before you can shoot a machine gun.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, a bump stock drastically changes how a machine gun or how a gun works.
Yeah.
And it's not like shooting a machine gun where you can just like it's so much more uncontrollable because there's the system. How a bump stock works is it floats the hand, the grip of the AR and the buffer tube, and floats the gun in this chassis.
Yeah.
So that you pull the trigger and then the gun itself shifts backwards so that the trigger resets while your finger is still there.
Still there. Yeah. Right.
A regular machine gun, it's still a monolithic thing. There's no movement other than the operating system itself, right? And so you're able to control the gun relatively easily if you know how to shoot, right? Depending on the caliber as well, obviously, right? Like
if you're bipod,
like a BAR, much more difficult than an MP5, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's still relatively simple to keep it on target. With a bump stock, though, the whole gun is moving in this platform, and it's not like a low tolerance thing. It's a piece of plastic, right? Yeah. It's going to be flexing, and there's tolerances so that it's more universal. And so you have this whole gun moving in this chassis, effectively, and you only have your hand on the thing, one hand on it, and so it's going to go everywhere. So, like,
that's weird.
People saying, like, oh, it's going to increase shooting. No, it's not going to.
Who cares? It's not going to do anything.
I think they're dumb in general to use.
Yeah.
And I think it's dumb that they were banned.
Pistol brace, though, that's cool.
Pistol brace is very good because
it's a useful thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and also because that one's important because a lot of people were made felons
for owning
them when the ATF had said previously that they were okay.
Wow. Yeah.
So the ATF had made a ruling saying these are fine. You can sell guns with them. So people went bucko wild on it.
Yeah.
Sold millions of these guns, and then the ATF says, actually, you're all felons now. Those are short-barreled rifles. And people that were not gun people bought those guns because they're easier to use, right? And
it's like a handicap accessibility type thing.
Well, that's what it was designed for originally. And so people that aren't in that gun sphere bought these and don't pay attention to it. So now they don't even know that they're breaking the law now because they bought something legally with a background check. The FBI knows, and so they vacated that ruling, and
that's good.
Now they're back to being legal again. Anyway,
nice gun news. And Steven's opinions. Solid. Why don't you finish us off with our final segment?
I shall. The card that I chose is a creature.
Ah, nice.
It's a 3/8 for 7 mana. Black. So 5 and 2 black.
Good.
3/8 with flying and lifelink.
Oh man. That's such an odd stat line. I'm trying to guess the creature because it's
the ability is you may play lands and cast spells from among cards in your graveyard you surveilled this turn.
Oh.
If you cast a spell this way, you may pay life equal to its mana value. You pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost.
So there's a newer guy then with the surveil keyword.
Yep.
5 and 2 black.
It's
not bad.
The creature type is Eye.
It's an Eye.
That's the creature type is Eye.
Eye?
It's Eye of Duskmantle.
The Eye? Is that from the Murders of Karlov Manor?
I don't think so.
Oh, no. Oh, maybe this was the Commander set, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, because it is Ravnica is from the flavor text. He's not a legendary. He's just a big flying eye. Kind of creepy. Play lands and cast spells from among cards you surveilled this turn, and you can pay life. It's not bad.
It's interesting.
That's cool.
I was looking at him and I was like, that's kind of a cool card.
You need, surveil synergies, which is a decent amount. They even, when they came out with surveil as a new keyword, they went and they retconned a lot of the old ones that did that effect. So now it's surveil.
Very cool.
synergy. So there's even older cards that work with that guy now.
Yeah.
You can chuck stuff in your graveyard and then just pay life to cast it all for free.
Yeah. Kind of have to have two graveyards, one that's like surveilled and one that's not.
Yeah, it's like this is my this turn surveilled.
Yeah. It's interesting for sure.
Yeah, the Eye of Dust.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool
art too. I like it.
Yeah, just a big eyeball.
He's got little bat wings.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad.
There it is.
I had not seen that. So cool.
Yeah. I hadn't seen it either until then. And then I was like, that's an interesting card.
It is.
I also didn't know I was a creature type.
There's probably like
1,
5 if I had to guess.
To look it up. All right, ready? Here we go, Trevor.
Yep.
Here we go.
My bets are on 5.
Let's search creature type.
I.
Creature. And is I. 7.
7.
There's an alien eye. A evil eye of Orms by Gore. Actually, there's just a lot of eyes.
The Evil Eye of Urborg.
And I. Oh, this is a silver border. It doesn't count. It's an I Spy.
I Spy. Yeah. Oh yeah, I knew Strixhaven had one that was an eye.
The I Bat.
The eye bat. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
When it dies, you learn. Which is the lesson cards.
We don't talk about that.
It's a 1 mana 1 with flying though.
Yeah, I used them in draft.
It's an uncommon.
I recall.
Right, silver's uncommon.
Yeah.
Evil Eye of Urborg.
Evil Eye of Orms by Gore. Non-eye creatures you control can't attack.
That's the same with Evil Eye as Urborg as well.
Oh, really?
Look.
Yeah, non-eye creatures you control can't attack. What the heck? When he becomes blocked, destroy that creature. It's funny.
And there's the Alien Eye, which is an Atraxi Warden.
Oh, yeah, from the Doctor Who set.
Yeah. Anyway, there it is.
Nice.
An eyeball.
Eyeballs.
Oh, they should have had like the Tower of Sauron or something like that be an eye.
Oh, yeah.
Would have been good.
They just had Sauron as like the physical manifestation on creature cards. But yeah.
Oh, well. There it is.
There it is. Till next time.
Episode 2 of the day.
Thanks for watching.